Welcome to the 2025 General Election Meet the Candidate Interview Forum. My name is Lindsay Allen, and along with my colleagues Naomi Bouts, Javis Cornett, Hilo Hancock, and Tyrell Stevenson, we'll be your moderators for this year's Meet the Candidate series. This year's forum is presented by the Hagedon Media Group, Quicksilver Studios, and the Joint Public Policy Committee, which represents the Coeur d'Alene Regional, Hayden, Post Falls, and Rathdrum Chambers of Commerce, in partnership with the Coeur d'Alene Post Falls Press. Our Meet the Candidate series features a comprehensive lineup of local races, giving you the opportunity to hear directly from the individuals seeking to serve our communities. This year's interviews include candidates running for Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Hayden, and Rathdrum City Councils, Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls mayoral races, Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, and Lakeland school boards. Each candidate will discuss their priorities, perspectives, and approach to the issues shaping North Idaho's future. Candidates will have 1 minute to introduce themselves, 2 minutes to answer each of 3 questions, and 1 minute for closing remarks. We hope this forum helps you cast an informed, confident vote in our upcoming elections.
Now we're going to hear from candidates for Hayden City Council, and with us is Ed DePriest. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So the way that we're going to do this is first you'll have a minute to introduce yourself and tell voters about yourself, and then we're going to have 3 questions. You'll have 2 minutes for each of those questions, followed by a short closing statement.
Great.
Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, thank you for the opportunity this evening. I'm running for a second term because I'm very concerned that should the KCRCC endorsed candidates gain a majority in Hayden, that the city will see a very similar situation that we all saw when the KCRCC endorsed trustees ran the North Idaho College. I'm a 32-year Kootenai and 22-year Hayden resident. In my first term, I accomplished everything that I campaigned that I would. I campaigned on better managing of growth and, in particular, higher density to meet the desires of the Hayden citizens. I put forth 4 zone code changes and a standard of approval which were adopted and which have resulted in 0 high-density development in 4 years. I made sure that the increase to the base tax for law enforcement was put on the ballot for the people to decide. My slogan is, promises made, promises kept. I did exactly that my first term, and I will continue to do that in my second term.
All right. Thank you. How would you address the city's rising housing costs that are forcing many locals to leave? Is there a solution?
Well, for the 4 years that I've been in council, people have approached us, developers, builders, with their projects and said, we're going to build affordable housing. And I said, well, what's affordable? Well, we really can't tell you that. And I said, well, how can you use the word affordable then? Well, cost, labor, and all that. Unfortunately, the costs are right about $550, the average home right now, and I do not see any affordable housing coming on the market. I do not believe in any government subsidies. There are some local groups that are working from the private side, which are being successful in helping the lower income people. And when we talk about affordable housing, which group are we talking to? Are we talking to the service workers in the shops and the restaurants? Are we talking to first responders and school teachers? Which level of income are we talking about? And unfortunately, right now, I don't see affordable housing coming on the market for the service workers in particular. The first responders and teachers, usually with 2 incomes, can get in. But I work for the citizens of Hayden, and we had a survey from a national firm, and they made it very clear that they do not want higher density development in the city of Hayden. And that's my responsibility, is to reflect what the citizens want. And that's what the city has done in the last 4 years with these zone changes, is to work to keep it primarily a single family type of community. Now, if the builders can develop homes in the price ranges that people can afford, then I'm all for that.
All right. Can you assure voters that you will not vote to raise property taxes? Whether yes or no, please explain.
Well, again, we had a law enforcement issue a couple years ago, and I was the one who advocated putting that question to the people on the ballot. And we did, and the people voted for a $543,000 increase to the base tax. We have now been put in a situation where basically the level of service cost per deputy is going to double. The county has sprung that on us, and the city doesn't have the funds for that level of service. So again, as I did before, I will put that on the ballot for the people to decide. What level of service do you want? How much do you want to pay for that service? To let the people decide. I will not raise the taxes. Okay? Any base tax increase, I will continue, as I did before, to advocate that it goes on the ballot, and the people either say yay or nay. The people will determine what level of service they want, what quality of life they want. We have infrastructure needs, $55 million in road and intersection and sewer on the capital improvement plan, and we don't have the funds for it. The people are going to have to either approve a reset of the base tax for law enforcement or a bond for the infrastructure needs. But I will not raise taxes. I will allow the people to tell us to raise taxes or not.
All right. And finally, what do you believe the top challenge facing the city in the years ahead, and what can be done about it?
Well, as I just mentioned, the biggest challenge right now is law enforcement. We were given numbers by the sheriff a couple of years ago for 10 deputy level of service. Our Public Safety Commission recommended the 10 level at the $543,000 increase. The people approved it. Shortly thereafter, the county has come to the city and said, well, wait a minute. Basically, for those 10 deputies, it's going to cost nearly $2 million. That is the biggest issue facing the city right now. And again, as I just said, that's going to have to go to the people. The city can't raise taxes enough to pay for that, even if they wanted to. The next one is the infrastructure. People are talking about traffic. Well, we have on our capital improvement plan $55 million primarily in road, intersection, sewer needed improvements. Those are the Hayden tax base has been the lowest in the community, in the county, by far, historically, and it's caught up with us. And so if the people want these levels of service, then they're going to have to determine, again, as I sound like a broken record, but those are the key issues that the city and the citizens are going to be facing.
All right. Well, if you'd like to take a minute and offer any closing thoughts you might have.
Sure. And a lot of it's going to be repetitive because I really believe that that's where we're at. In my opinion, this is the most important election in the history of Hayden. The results of this election could take Hayden in two diametrically opposed directions. My opponent is making claims that the city continues to approve high density. Fact is, we haven't approved a high density project in 4 years. My opponent claims the city is mismanaging growth. The community development report disproves that. Okay? I challenge my opponent to specifically tell us where the city can legally do to better manage growth. My opponent claims the city is not transparent. The city is doing everything that they are legally able to do to provide information to the public. I challenge my opponent to specifically identify where the city is deliberately conceals anything from the public. As I've mentioned, the city is facing significant funding challenges related to law enforcement and infrastructure. The cost for the current deputies I've discussed already. The $55 million I've discussed already. I've discussed it. I believe this is going to have to go to the ballot for the people to decide what level they want to pay for and what quality of life they want to pay for. I will advocate putting both questions on the ballot for the people. Most likely a tax-based reset for the law enforcement and a bond question for the infrastructure. I will do what I say I will do, and I think my record proves it. Citizens of Hayden, please do not let Hayden become the next North Idaho College debacle. Please vote Ed DePriest. Promises made, promises kept.
All right. Thank you very much. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Our next candidate running for Hayden City Council is Sandy White. Sandy, you'll have 1 minute to introduce yourself. I will ask you 3 questions, which you'll have 2 minutes to answer each. Finally, you'll have 1 minute for a closing statement. Sandy, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. Hello, I'm Sandy White, and I've been on the Hayden City Council for 4 years, and I'm excited to be running for my second term. My husband, Alan, and I have been married for 44 years. We have 3 children and 9 grandchildren. And we moved to Hayden 11 years ago. But before that, we lived overseas in the Middle East, and we taught Bible and did translation. And after the comprehensive plan, the 2040 comprehensive plan was passed, I got involved in the city of Hayden, and I started going to meetings, making public comment, and I even started a Facebook page called Hayden Happenings so I could keep people up to date on what's going on and when meetings were. And I'm just really excited to be running again and to help keep small town Hayden. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us. For our first question, how would you address the city's rising housing costs that are forcing many locals to leave, and what is the solution?
Yes, that's a big concern in Hayden. And I believe that part of the solution would be lower taxes, lower property taxes. So just to do whatever we could to lower taxes to make it more livable, because I believe that people who have lived there long term have bought their houses maybe when the market was lower and it's in their budget. But as property taxes go up, that makes it unaffordable, and then they're forced to leave. So as much as we can do to keep property taxes as low as possible, I think that's really important.
Thank you for sharing that. Mm-hmm. The next question. Can you assure voters you will not vote to raise property taxes? And whether yes or no, can you provide an explanation?
Okay. So in the city of Hayden, we've had a low levy rate, and we've been able to keep taxes low. But I can't promise that we won't raise property taxes in the future, because right now we are on a budget where we have raised it 0% this year. But we're also facing rising prices with the sheriff's department and with other challenges facing the city. And so we may have to raise taxes. But I would say that I am very careful about raising taxes, and I would look at every possibility of where we could cut, where we could trim things. I'm careful about waste and things that come before us, like extra surveys or things that aren't in the budget getting added on. So I would just say I would try my best to give good value for whatever taxes we do have to raise, but I would do my best to not raise taxes.
Thank you. For our final question.
Okay.
What do you believe is the top challenge facing the city in years ahead, and what can be done about it?
Well, right now we are dealing with a situation with the costs of the sheriff department and budget issues. But I feel like the sheriff issue is very important. I like having a sheriff that's accountable to the people. And I like that the sheriff's department and the county have been working with us to take care of our law enforcement issues. So in the future, we would need to look at how we could make that work and adjust our budget accordingly. I think starting our own police department is just way out of budget. It would just cost too much and take too much time to organize that much. Another issue is the Urban Renewal District. They get $1 million a year from our property taxes, and a lot of the urban renewal areas are some of our high crime areas. So if we could take care of, maybe have urban renewal end early and have that extra money to go back to the taxpayers and be able to take care of our law enforcement costs that way.
Thank you for sharing that. Now is the time for your closing statement. As a reminder, you have 1 minute.
Okay. So I would just like to say that I'm here for you, the taxpayers, and I try to be a kind and honest person, and yet I'm a very strong person, and I'm willing to vote no when I need to because I'm not a rubber stamper. And I'm here to look out for the needs of the city, and I've even had tried to get a law passed to help the city, and it did pass to protect the consent agenda. And I'm just here to help you, and we need to back our essential services and make sure the city is taken care of and safe. And I love the people of Hayden. I love to serve. And if you want to know more about me, you can go to my website, sandyforhayden.com, and I've got a lot of information there. And together, I believe we can make Hayden, or keep Hayden, the friendly, safe, and small city that we've grown to love. Thank you.
Sandy, we really appreciate your responses, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Well, tonight we've got Luke Summer with us, and he's running for the Hayden City Council. And so the format we've got tonight is we'll give you a minute to introduce yourself, and then we'll have 3 questions, and you'll have 2 minutes to answer each of those questions, and then a minute to close. So if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Tyrell. Yeah, my name is Luke Summer. I'm running for the Hayden City Council, seat number 2, and I'm married, father of 5 children, 9 grandchildren, been a resident of the city of Hayden since 2013. And I care deeply about this community, so I've watched civic government, city government in particular. I want to make sure that we have a city that is outstanding for the future. I'm running for Hayden City Council because I believe in keeping government transparent, accountable, and limited to its proper role of serving the people, not controlling them. I've watched the city council, mayor, and staff misuse laws and procedures that are designed to control those who exercise the powers of government. They have wasted time, repeatedly violated other council members' rights, and demonstrated poor temperament and judgment. If elected, I will work to restore integrity and civility to the council's proceedings, insist on proper procedure within Idaho's open meeting laws and parliamentary procedure, and ensure that the rights of citizens and council members alike are protected.
All right. Thank you. How would you address the city's rising housing costs that are forcing many locals to leave? And do you believe there's a solution?
I believe that the free market is the only solution. I've watched governments, federal, state, and local, intervene in the marketplace. And the intervention leads to more dislocation of proper value. The true answer, I think, to high prices is high prices. And I think that when government gets involved, government makes mistakes and distorts the marketplace.
All right. Can you assure voters that you will not vote to raise property taxes? And whether yes or no, can you provide an explanation?
I don't personally believe that we need to raise property taxes at this point in time. If the voters decided that they wanted to raise property taxes because they wanted to fund something extra than we have now, then that would be up to the voters to decide.
All right. What do you believe the top challenge facing the city is in the years ahead, and what can be done about it?
Well, I think right now the top challenge is procedural and legal. One of the things that I've observed over the past 3 years is council and even the legal counsel not adhering to the laws. I'll give you an example. August 29th, they had a meeting, and it was a meeting simply to go into executive session. And the open meeting law states that it requires a 2/3 vote of the governing body. They had a tie vote. The mayor was allowed to break the tie by council, city legal counsel. And the actual requirement was a 2/3 vote of the governing council, not including the mayor. Even if the mayor could have voted, it would still have been a 60% vote rather than a 2/3 vote. I think that kind of oversight on basic statutory requirements is a big problem. And once we get that fixed and follow proper procedure, both legal and parliamentary, I think that the other problems that we face can be better and more easily addressed.
All right. Thank you. Well, if you want to take a minute and offer a closing statement,
Sure.
go ahead.
All right. My vision is simple. Keep small town Hayden. Growth must be managed with prudence, not politics. The 2040 comprehensive plan must be completely reviewed to bring it back in line with the people's expressed desire to keep small town Hayden. Growth is not inevitable. All you have to do is ask towns and cities all over the Rust Belt and on the East Coast. Hayden must plan for both booms and bust. As a realtor, I've seen many, many of those. The push for higher density on infill lots or in new subdivisions and developments should be discouraged. Only the market can make housing affordable, and the city council should not be in the business of engineering growth at the expense of current residents. So I believe in preserving Hayden's small town character while maintaining fiscal responsibility, ensuring public safety, and promoting property rights. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We are joined now by a candidate for Hayden City Council, David Erickson. Thank you
Hi.
for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Thank you. We are going to go through a few things. We have a minute for an introduction.
Okay.
We have 3 questions, and we're going to give you 2 minutes per question, and then a closing statement for a minute as well.
Okay.
So, David, please tell us a little bit about yourselves. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is David Erickson. So I'm a husband to my wife, Jessica. We have 3 kids, ages 11, 9, and 7. We moved up here in 2020. I would say to find the best place possible to raise our kids. And I feel like we found that in Hayden and also just being up here in North Idaho. It's been amazing. I volunteer on the Hayden Planning and Zoning Commission. And I'm also the secretary of the Special Forces Association, the North Idaho chapter. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into our questions. First question is, how would you address the city's rising housing costs that are forcing many locals to leave? Is there a solution?
You know, I think it's very complex. I think that there are some cities that are taking steps towards that. I know from previous surveys and from hearing concerns, one of the big concerns is high density. So I think that is something that we want to stay away from because that messes with the city of Hayden's, the way it's always been, the way that people want it to stay. So I think that we need to look to certain grants or programs. I used to do home loans, so I know that there's many different options for low down payment, zero down payment, depending on your different economic status. There's different grants you can get. So I think being more aggressive with searching for those ways to get help with down payments, that sort of thing. But it is a very difficult topic, and I think that it forces people to have longer commutes. And it's unfortunate. There are people as we grow up. I look at my kids, and I know that they're going to have an even harder time when I look at the type of problems and difficulties I had with finding a house. I was in a tough situation, but I think with hard work and a plan, the American dream can happen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next question is, can you assure voters you will not vote to raise property taxes? Whether yes or no, please provide an explanation.
So one of the reasons I'm stepping up is I think that there needs to be honest and sometimes difficult leadership. My understanding is that when you look at North Idaho, Kootenai County, most of the cities, they have a pretty high tax base. And Hayden has the lowest of all tax bases. And we're running up against a lot of issues when it comes to infrastructure, the need to improve roads, sewer, wastewater. There's a lot of things that need to be taken care of. There's concerns with the way that we're going to have public safety and how it's going to be paid for. So there's a lot of things that we're knocking on the door against. And I think that these issues shouldn't just be decided by the people in charge. It needs to be presented to the people so that they can make an informed decision. In the same way that there's been throughout the county, the fire departments have been having a hard time. I can't promise anything. I just know that there's going to be a decision that has to be made. Do you want the services or do you want the services degraded? And if you want the same level of service, sometimes you're going to have to pay more. So that's a question that we all have to face. Do we want to go to that nice restaurant and have that great dinner? Or is it more fiscally responsible to cook a meal at home? These are decisions that we have to make as a city and figure out, how do we want the community to look and feel? And unfortunately, right now, we're not meeting the tax needs with the base. And so that's going to be something that does come up in the future.
Thank you. Last question. What do you believe is the top challenge facing the city in the years ahead, and what can be done about it?
So I think growth is inevitable. And I think the challenge is doing it responsibly. That's one of my main points for running is responsible growth. So being on the Planning and Zoning Commission for the city of Hayden right now, I'm able to see what the 2040 comprehensive plan is trying to address. The traffic needs. We have so much congestion as it is. How do we alleviate that? But how do we pay for that? So it goes back to your previous question. Right now, we are not meeting the demands that the city has. And there's a burden on there, and we need to figure out, how do we as a city pay for that? And what do we do to meet those needs? So I think those are tough conversations that have to be had, but you can't just kick the can down the road. So it's popular to say, no, I'm not going to raise taxes. Even though I'm fiscally conservative, we need to figure out a way to pay for the demands that we have, to keep the roads safe, to keep the growth at bay, and to do it in a well thought out way. So it's a very, very difficult challenge we have as a city and as a county, but it's one that it takes strong leadership, and it also takes honest, good communication.
Thank you. Okay, we've got 1 minute for you to make any final statements.
So I believe Hayden is a special place, like I mentioned. My wife and I feel like we found the perfect place to raise our family. Not only does it have strong families, but strong values, and it's a community worth protecting. My goal is responsible growth, good governance, and also a focus on patriotism and family. I'd be honored to earn the trust of the people of Hayden, and I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Joint Public Policy Committee representing the Coeur d'Alene Regional, Hayden, Post Falls, and Rathdrum Chambers of Commerce, in partnership with the Hagedon Media Group, the Coeur d'Alene Post Falls Press, Lindsay, Tyrell, Javis, Hilo, and I want to thank all of the candidates for taking part in this year's Meet the Candidate series. We also extend our thanks to the production teams at Quicksilver Studios, Hagedon Media Group, and the Coeur d'Alene Press. And of course to you, the voters, for watching and learning about the individuals who wish to serve our community. Over the 2 evenings, we've listened to those who aim to lead and represent our cities and schools. And because voting is one of the most powerful rights and responsibilities we share as Americans, we encourage everyone to stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, exercise your right to vote.